Welcome to the Ravens Space on YouTube. My name is Jason, and this is Ravens Space Daily, where we talk about the Baltimore Ravens every single weekday. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Please subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed for more great Baltimore Ravens content. Also, please follow us on all the different social media for other great content as well. And check out our Patreon page. I want to thank all our Patreon subscribers because you guys are the best and you guys help us do this every single day. So we'll hop right into the 3 great news stories of the day. Again, if you have a comment about any of the news stories, put it down in the comment section below and I'll try to answer it the best I can. Now let's hop right in. The first story comes from NFL.com and it talks about the signing of Eric Decker to the Tennessee Titans. And it shows that Eric Decker is now off the board for the Ravens officially. So hopefully the rumors and speculation can stop. It was nice that we got Macklin. I know a lot of people want to get Decker too. But now it's time for us to go get an offensive lineman and help the team out. Decker is going to be good for the Titans. He'd have been good for us too because he's a big body, he's a good route runner, and he can catch the ball. He does get nicked and have injury issues, but I'm fine that we didn't get him and we got Macklin instead. I think Macklin's a good player as well. So it was either, pick your poison, right? They both have strengths, they both have weaknesses. And the Ravens chose a player with that speed and that route running ability because Macklin can run routes, but they didn't want that over the middle option that they have. So again, congrats to Eric Decker. Ravens fans, we really did want to have a dynamic receiving core, but now Ozzie and Eric DeCosta can go and address offensive line and hopefully get us another player, maybe a Mangold in there that can help beef up this team. And so we can be one of those teams that like to push people around in the trenches as well. So I just wanted to let you guys know, and let me know below if you guys wanted Eric Decker badly, because I know a lot of you guys, especially the people who are subscribed to the channel, was like, give me an offensive lineman. Eric Decker's okay, but we need to protect Joe Flacco. So now we should have the money to do that now. So I'm excited to see what Ozzie and them boys in the Baltimore Ravens lab can cook up to help protect Joe Flacco. And we'll move on to the next story, which is about Joe Flacco, right? And the NFL.com did a ranking of each team's top MVP candidate. And so what they did was they took the predictions of who they thought were going to be MVP candidates. And most of them are quarterbacks. And then they, ranked them in their hierarchy of ranks. And so for the Baltimore Ravens, of course, it's Joe Flacco, right? The team will go how Joe goes, right? If Joe has a great season, I think we'll have a great season as a team. If Joe has a bad season, we'll have a bad season as a team. So I'll read you guys what they said about Joe Flacco and his chances to be MVP. So the ranking that they have Joe Flacco in is MVP of their team. The other rankings you have like, the big three non-quarterbacks, rising tides, chances, but this is MVP of their team, and it stands for basically the best chance that your team has of MVP, but it's not really a real shot that you have to win the MVP award. So I'll read you Joe Flacco's blurb they have here, and it says, if Flacco is going to win this, he'll need a lot of help. With Dennis Pitta, 86 catches last season, gone, and one of the weakest running games in pro football, 91.4 yards per game, 28th in the NFL. Will Mike Wallace and Bashard Perriman or recent signee Jeremy Macklin provided? On the other hand, if Baltimore wins the AFC North and Flacco throws for 4,600 yards, how could he not be the NFL MVP? And basically they're saying what we know, right? That the only way for the Ravens to be an elite team in the AFC is for Joe Flacco to play up to this highest level. And if he plays up to that high level, if we even see anything close that we saw in that 2012 playoff run, then he has a chance to be MVP. I know you guys hear me talk about that 2012 playoff run a lot, and it's because I do miss that. When Joe is throwing the ball, I've never seen a Baltimore Ravens quarterback as confident in his receivers, giving them chances, putting it where only they can catch the ball, and I want to see that again. And so again, Joe Flacco is the best chance the Ravens have to win MVP, the only chance the Ravens have the MVP, and if he plays great out of his mind, 5,000 yard season, the Ravens win the AFC North, 12, 13 game win, he'll be the one that pushes us forward. Now, our defense will help a lot, but you know, you got to have a good quarterback in this league to win the Super Bowl. And you know, I know a lot of you guys say that defense wins championships, but that's good. But the last team to win a Super Bowl without a good quarterback was the Baltimore Ravens of 2000, right? These last couple of times, great quarterbacks win championships, and you got to get a great quarterback. And Joe can be a great quarterback if he plays up to his potential. And we'll move on to the next story of the day. And the next one is about Dennis Pitta and whether he'll be in the Ring of Honor. So if you guys don't know, the Ring of Honor is like the Hall of Fame for a team. So the Baltimore Ravens Ring of Honor, and they honor greats in there. Ray Lewis is in there, Ed Reed is in there, Ogden is in there, Todd Heap is in there, I believe Peter Boulware is in there. So there's a lot of players in there. And then they're asking, based on all his stats, his time, how influential he was to Baltimore, should he be in the Ring of Honor? And my answer is no. And if you guys know about things like this, I'm an elitist about the Hall of Fame, about the Ring of Honor, about certain things like that. You have to be the very best that the Baltimore Ravens have in order to make it into the Ring of Honor. And you don't got to be number one, right? Because that wouldn't be fair to Peter Boulware. So I think Terrell Suggs is better than Peter Boulware, but they're both outside linebackers, right? So, but you have to be like a top level. Like when you play the game, people looked at you and were like, wow, he's one of the best to ever do it, right? So a player like Haloti Ngata should be, I think, in the Ring of Honor. When Haloti Ngata was here in Baltimore, he was the best defensive tackle in the league for several years, something like that. Dennis Pitta, I don't think so, man. I think that he had 2 great years. One was last year where he had a lot of catches, even though they were a little bit of trash catches. He did have a lot. And then the year that we won the Super Bowl, which wasn't even a great year all the way through, but it was at the very end of the season, he caught fire. So I'll read you some of his stats that he has. Pitta played 6 seasons, 224 passes for 2,098 yards and 13 scores. If you guys think that should be in the Ring of Honor, I just can't agree with you. I think those stats are, pedestrian, and you have to take things in context. He had a lot of injuries. He played good in clutch time, but you have to be the best, and those numbers don't talk about being the best. And you don't have to have gaudy numbers on the NFL level, but you at least have to have great numbers for a Baltimore Raven. And I'm going to read you guys Todd Heap's career numbers. And Todd Heap's career numbers are 499 receptions, 5,869 yards, and 42 touchdowns. I'm not trying to say Dennis Pitta didn't do anything, but Todd Heap had a much better career, and your best ability is availability, and it's not Todd Heap's fault that Dennis Pitta got injured. And also, Todd Heap did that in a time where passing the ball wasn't what the Ravens did, right? Joe Flacco has thrown the most passes of any Ravens quarterback ever. We all know that. Todd Heap had Kyle Bowler, okay, and Jamal Lewis and Jonathan Ogden, right? So they ran the ball first, and then when they did pass the ball, a bad quarterback was throwing the ball. So, I think that Dennis is a good guy, a good player, but he's just not Ring of Honor material for the Baltimore Ravens. And like we end every single show, we answer a question from you guys, the Ravens Space community, and what we call Ravens Space Mailbag. And this question is from Halbert, and Halbert asks, with all the new talent on defense, who do you think will be the Ravens defensive MVP? Thank you so much for your question, Halbert. So between the MVP race for the Baltimore Ravens defensive player, it's 2 players to me that have a chance. One is CJ Mosley, the other one is Eric Weddle. And if I had to pick, I would pick CJ Mosley for a lot of reasons. I think CJ Mosley in a lot of ways is the most impactful player on our defense. And that's a lot for, a middle linebacker. Usually the most impactful player is a pass rusher, right? That's just how the game is played nowadays. When Terrell Suggs won his Defensive MVP award, he was the most impactful player in the league. And when he was having those great seasons, when he didn't win MVP, to me, he was the most impactful player on our defense from a game standpoint. Ray Lewis was most impactful from a leadership standpoint. I think CJ Mosley this year will be great in coverage. I think he'll be great in the run game. And I think he has all the pieces to put together. Eric Weddle, to me, is the second best player on the defense right now. I think CJ Mosley is the best player on the defense right now. And I think he will be the Ravens defensive MVP for this year. And he's the chance that the Ravens have to have another NFL defensive MVP. So, and we have a long line of those. Of course, Terrell Suggs, Ed Reed, and Ray Lewis. So we'll see what happens. My pick would be CJ Mosley for the defensive MVP for the Baltimore Ravens. And that is all for today. Thank you guys so much. Please subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Comment, share, like, the whole spiel. Check out our Patreon page and our social media. Thank you guys so much, and go Ravens.